My name is Roy Gleason. I was born in 1927 in Pulaski, Virginia, and at the age of 9 in 1936 we moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, and I attended school at Lenny Junior High School, and at the age of 16 I went in the Navy. I was 16, May the 7th and July the 6th, I was in the Navy. And after several weeks of training at boot camp at Bainbridge, Maryland, I was assigned to the USS Nevada in Boston, Massachusetts. That was our home port on the East Coast. And we made the first thing I did on this ship was we made 2 trips to Belfast, Ireland. They were convoy trips protecting other ships, merchant ships. And then after that, when I turned 17, May the 7th, I was in Glasgow, Scotland. And then shortly after that, we had the invasion of Normandy. My ship bombarded Omaha, Utah, Toulon, Marseille, and southern France. And we also bombarded these shore batteries, 16-inch shore batteries on the cliffs. We were assigned to knock those out. And after some time there, I'm not sure just how many months, but then we came back to the States and restored the ship. And then we went around through the Panama Canal and went into the Pacific Theater. We went to Hawaii. That was our first stop. From Hawaii, we went for the invasion of Iwo Jima, in which my ship fired the first shot on the bombardment of Iwo Jima. And we were there when they captured Mount Suribachi, and when they raised the flag, it was announced on our ship the hour they did it. And at a later time, they announced that the small flag went down, they put up a larger flag. And after that conflict, we moved on to Okinawa, which we were in the China Sea, and we received a lot of kamikaze raids. For 22 days, we went to general quarters 60 times. Most of them were for air raids, some were for shore battery, at which off Okinawa we were hit with 1 kamikaze plane, and we got also hit by the shore battery 5 times, 8-inch shells. And when the kamikaze plane hit, it killed 12 men and injured many more, which I was not in the section where it hit, thankfully. And then when the shore battery hit, I was very close to where one exploded inside the ship. We also had one go all the way through the ship, but we were hit 5 times. And after bombarding Okinawa for a period of time, we came back to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii we came back to the States. In March of '46, I was discharged from the Navy, And 2 weeks after being discharged, I was back in school. I continued my high school and 2 years of college.
Tell me a little bit about some of the situations you dealt with, a bit of your feelings. What was it like being a 16-year-old indestructible person to go into the Navy? Because you see at 16, you don't think anything can happen to you. And and even I recall their discussion reference to the firing of the weapons, and there on the French coast at Normandy and whatever. What about that particular miss that you had? I thought that was pretty interesting. Your assignment was to take out the big guns. What happened to one of those big guns?
One of the big guns, we were approximately 20 miles out from the guns, and we were shooting 14-inch shells at it, which weighed 1,500 pounds, my understanding. And one of the shells hit below these guns were in thick concrete emplacements where bombs wouldn't even penetrate. But we hit below the gun emplacement in the side of the cliff, and the gun turret, concrete gun, everything fell into the ocean.
Pretty interesting stuff now as you reflect on it. What kind of fears did you have at that time?
Fears?
Yes.
I was excited.
Tell me about your excitement.
Well, for someone who had never been anywhere or done anything, this was the most exciting thing I'd ever been involved in. And at no time did I ever want to be anywhere but there.
So once you left the European theater, really it got pretty close up and personal. You're talking about one thing, and a very important part of the war and the combat, and you're offshore and you're 20 miles. But it got real up close and personal in the Pacific. Now, describe to me what it was like with Japanese kamikaze planes coming at you and flying at you, and you're seeing them and you see that they're going to even hit your ship. What were your feelings there?
Well, you know, as I stated with you before, I was just excited. I didn't want to be anywhere but where I was at, and I was just crazy enough to be having a good time.
It's pretty amazing what, as young people, we can do and say and be involved in, and so on. What changes do you think that the Navy and your military experience brought to you into your life? Most of us, as young kids, we just kind of take it day by day, and it doesn't make too much difference if the sun comes up or down. We're just going to wing it and do okay. But you know, I know that you've been a pretty successful guy. And do you think the military and the discipline of it impacted you in any way?
Well, it gives you confidence, makes you a little more ambitious.
You were in the military really for from 44 to 46.
2 years, 8 months, 7 days, and 15 minutes.
Okay. All right, you had it right down to a
And I was still 18 when I got discharged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you're in at my age, we're not talking about bravery. We're just talking about a young kid that didn't know any better.
Yeah. So you don't really count yourself as being a brave sort of guy. It was more that, as you said, you didn't know any better. You hadn't seen what it was at some other places past, as the old saying goes, you hadn't quite seen Paris yet. You had been out on the farm, and so when
I've been there in the hills.
that's right, in the hills. So I'm sure it was an exciting life to you. Well, Roy, I really want to thank you for the service you provided for your country, and it certainly has been of much value to us as a country. Where would we be had we not had, particularly the greater generation, as it's often been called? And so I say here now, thank you so much for what you've done, and by all means, I know that not only I don't only speak for myself, but I speak for many others that your service is much appreciated.
Well, it was more like a game with me. When I was in there, the war wasn't taken very seriously. I was just having a good time.